yes, it's an unlikely comparison, but two powerful and expensive V8s. We've got the 2024 Ram 1500 TRX Final Edition. So this is a send-off to the current generation TRX. It's set to be the last V8 TRX ever as well. I mean, they might bring back a V8 in the future, especially if they get some backlash from Americans and all that sort of thing that want the V8. But yeah, it's, as far as I know and as far as Ram has said, it will be the last V8 of its kind. And then I've got a 2024 Lexus LC 500 Coupe behind me. Naturally aspirated V8 versus supercharged V8, rear-wheel drive versus four-wheel drive. The TRX produces 523 kilowatts from its 6.2 litre supercharged V8 and 882 Newton meters, while the Lexus makes do with 351 kilowatts and 540 Newton meters from its 5 litre naturally aspirated V8. In terms of the weight, the TRX is easily the heaviest. It's just over 3,000 kilograms, while the Lexus, I couldn't find the Kerb weight, but the Tare weight is 1,910 kilograms. So put that into a calculator and you're left with a power to weight ratio of 171 kilowatts per tonne in the TRX and a slightly better 183 kilowatts per tonne in the Lexus. Neither of these two are designed for drag racing, but I'm going to compare them anyway. As usual, I'll set up the tripod at 3 different positions on this private road for the full quarter-mile run. I've marked out the tarmac so I know exactly where the tripod stands. Shush, Paddy. The cow going off over the back there. I've marked out the spot for the tripod, the exact same positions, and I know when the vehicles take off exactly during editing. They were recorded on different days. It's a pretty warm day today. It's about 27 during the testing. I've already done the testing for this, whereas the TRX was about 25, I think, from memory. So yeah, definitely a little bit cooler, just a tiny bit in the TRX, but it's later in the afternoon with the Lexus, so there's a bit of a breeze, which is, you know, the wind chill factor would be better today compared with the TRX. Officially, the TRX does 0 to 100 in 4.5 seconds, while the Lexus is claimed at 4.7 seconds. Let's see how they go. There we go, I bet you weren't expecting that. The TRX easily beats the Lexus LC 500. even though the Lexus offers a better power to weight ratio, and it is a sports car, not like a big pickup truck ute type of thing like the TRX. I've tested a lot of Lexuses over the years, including the GSF, the RCF, and the ISF to some degree. They all don't get off the line that well. It doesn't mean that they're slow. When you start driving them and really get under them, they're actually really good. But just off the line, like I tried about 5 runs here today before we did this recording. I did the V-Box first, and it just didn't, there was no way I could just force it off the line. You can build up the revs a bit on the brake, but if you push too hard, then it just starts, doing a burnout. So you've got to balance that, push really hard on the brakes to really load it up, and then release the brake. It's not really a wheel spin issue at all. It doesn't spin away too much power. The gearing isn't quite set up for pure acceleration. I feel like even though it's got 10 gears, it cruises along the highway really well, and it doesn't rapid fire through the gears like you might think, like a Ford Ranger, for example. That just keeps going through the gears, whereas this kind of behaves like a 6-speed, really. It's not until you start to explore some of the gears and go up a mountain road or something like that, you might be in third, where in some cars you might be in second. So yeah, it's kind of a weird situation where it doesn't produce a good 0 to 100 time. The quarter mile, 13.8, it's still pretty quick, but I feel like if you keep going, this would have a really good top end, whereas other cars that do take off a bit better and produce a better 0 to 100, they might not be able to keep up with this in terms of the top end, maybe anyway. It's not a heaps powerful engine, 351 kilowatts by today's standards for a V8. A lot of them are twin turbocharged and have 400 kilowatts if you look at sort of BMW and Mercedes-Benz and Audi. So it's not hugely powerful, but I think the torque probably lets it down a little bit too, being naturally aspirated. 540 Newton meters isn't that drastic for today's standards. But yeah, this is one of my favorite cars of all time. I really love driving the LC. It's beautiful in the steering. It just glides along. It feels like it's floating along, but not in like a bad sort of soft way. It just glides around corners beautifully. The suspension soaks up bumps, so you can take it on a nice drive in the country or something like that. Even though it is kind of a Grand Tourer, I would pitch it more of a super sports car than a Grand Tourer because of the V8 and because of the way it handles. It really holds on well. There is a bit of weight there, 1900 kilograms, but it's not too bad compared with some modern sports cars. And then you've got the design, like the attention to detail is very high. Look at the front grille, the way the sort of whatever they are, diamonds, they kind of split down the bottom and they merge into larger ones. And the headlights are very detailed. Even the alloy wheels here, you've got these little steps, very dirty at the moment, but yeah, very high attention to detail. It looks really nice. And this example has got a carbon fiber roof with these brushed aluminium style or chrome trimmings. They're almost chrome, they're not quite full shiny. And at the back, I love the 3D style of tail lights there. It's a really nice car, and I'm glad Lexus continues to offer it. Lexus has been spotted testing prototype versions of what are believed to be a sort of next generation LFA. So the LFA was kind of like this, but turned up to 11. It had a naturally aspirated V10, very high revs, sounded extraordinary. The new version, or this new version, isn't set to have a V10, but it still should be very powerful, and it should offer excellent track performance. So I'm looking forward to that one. In the meantime though, tell me what you would have out of these two, the Lexus LC 500 or the TRX. It's worth noting that the Lexus is priced from around, or just under $200,000, it's $199 something, excluding on-road costs, while the TRX is $249,950 excluding on-roads. So $50,000 more expensive. Is it $50,000 more car? I guess it is if you take in the fact that it's a crazy Baja model that has Bilstein suspension, coil springs front and rear. Yeah, just awesome off-road performance. And it's actually really comfortable to drive on the road because of that suspension. It just absorbs the bumps, it doesn't jitter around or anything like that, like a typical pickup truck or ute. But $50,000 more than the Lexus, I don't know. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching.